Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Wednesday's Talking Town. It is 8:35. I'm your host, Gav, and it is nearly the weekend, although we had a game last night. So we're getting double duty this week. Lovely job. I do like a Tuesday night because it does make the week go that little bit more quicker as we bundle and run towards another weekend. Another big game on the horizon. Bolton, many will say, and probably rightfully so, judging by the fact they are in fifth position. A little bit more of a tougher test than the last couple of games, but Town now are on a little bit of a run. 4 games, clean sheets. First 4-game run since October, I believe. We'll discuss a little bit of that last night and a little bit of the run so far, including Bolton as well. But as always, we can't do this show. We can't run this platform. We can't do anything without you wonderful people. First of all, our beautiful and brilliant Talking Town Fist Standers. They are the guys and girls who support us through Ko-Fi or by becoming a YouTube member. You can become a YouTube member by hitting the join button or head to Ko-Fi, click the link, set yourself up on there. Great, such as Phil Blundell, because his name's in green. They get their name in special colours, you see, such as green. I think it is just green. I'm not seeing any other colour, to be fair. But Anthony Steele, another YouTube member. Without you guys and girls, without you wonderful people, we can't do what we do. But equally, we can't do shows without you all getting involved and having your say. So you've got the live chat right there. I'll try and put a link in as we go throughout the course of the evening. But have your say on your football club. Anything you've seen, heard, feel, think, get it said, get it in the chat, and let's get talking about it. We've got some Bolton chat already coming up. Phil making the great point. Playdate games in 22 days. That's why. Colin said we are in top form. I should bloody hope so, Colin, after the last 4 teams we've played. No disrespect to any of those. John B, our confidence is probably a bit higher than Bolton's at the moment. Hopefully it will make the difference. Lots of chat already on that one. I want to just give a quick mention of Colin's book. Of course, you can buy it on Amazon. I saw Mark Dowling tweeting about it this evening. He has just received his copy. And many people say it's such a great read. It's only it's only £7.97, £7, £8, something like that on Amazon. Colin is in the chat. He will let you know for sure. But it's of course called Diary of an Obsession. If you are a Town fan, if you know of a Town fan, or if you've just got somebody who needs to buy you a present, just give them a little bit of a nudge and just let them know this is what you want from Amazon. Diary of an Obsession by Colin Plum. And of course, we have our free tickets for the 30th of March, the book launch, the official launch of the book with Colin and some wonderful guests to come. Right. Go and buy it on Amazon. While you do, I'll bring in our first contributor, the aficionado, Stephen Thompson.
No, I think Bottas he'll be the one to really hold out.
Aficionado Stephen Thompson back on the platform. We've missed you. You're not wearing one of your fabled shirts, though.
I'm not. It's cold up here, and this is a nice warm jumper. So I was debating whether to go and get changed into a shirt, but no, this was going to have to do.
Just in case you haven't got Facebook, it's snowing outside. You got to love those Facebook posts whenever it snows, just in case you're in a room without a window. So,
yeah, fortunately, I'm not short of windows in this place, which is why it's so bloody cold. But yeah, luckily I can keep up to date with the weather. So.
Yeah, there you go. But it is Bolton. It is the famous fixture, the Barry Knight derby. We've all got a Bolton sort of memory. What's your standout Bolton memory, Steve?
I think mine in recent years it would be, unfortunately, the 5-2 loss last season. Christian Walton's first game, I think. And then I think going further back, it's probably the playoff semi-finals, 99, 2000s. I think that's probably going to be... So that's when I first really started following Town, was sort of the late 90s. So I think that's one of the ones that sort of stands out for me. Yeah.
Nice. I think it's that for everybody. The Barry Knight derby at home, last-minute penalty, take us through Magilton. You've got so many great, some not so good memories. 3-1 away in the Premier League years, that springs to mind. But yeah, we've all got them. And Bolton again. I've got the referee down here. I mentioned him as we go through the show. Obviously, referees are always big in the Bolton fixture. Before we begin, our second contributor. I'm sure the guys and girls at home know who's coming. If you see Steve, you normally see somebody else quickly behind, the dynamic duo that they are. But how are you feeling on your football club? 4 games, 4 wins, should I say, on the bounce, 4 clean sheets, first time since October, 4 wins on a bounce. Are you feeling positive, Steve? Are you feeling the same because you feel like we've played okay, but we've only played Burton, etc., etc. Where's your temperature as we start the night?
No, I'm feeling good. There was obviously that wobble over the Christmas period, but 4 wins on the bounce. Okay, yeah, they weren't the strongest teams in the division, but they were decent wins.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of clean sheets. Was it 5 clean sheets in a row now? Which is pretty solid. So defensively, we're looking better. Yeah, I'm feeling positive. I think winning breeds that mentality. So yeah, I'm feeling good about it. I'm looking forward to this one.
Nick Muller, 4 wins, 12 goals, none conceded. We do have a good stat like that, Nick. Mr. Positivity, Neil Mould.
Yeah, but we're crap. We're not going to dominate any team.
Oh, there you go. He's wrong again. We're crap. We're not going to dominate any team except Accra and Stanley, Burton, Forest Green. And there's one other. I keep forgetting who they are in the middle of that 4-game run. But there we go. Are you more positive, Neil? I mean, you're Mr. Positivity, so you should be bouncing off the ceiling this evening. Are you more positive or are you roughly the same?
Roughly the same.
Roughly the same. Okay. I like that because many people are roughly the same. They're saying, calm down. Don't get too het up. Why are you exactly the same, Neil Moles? What gives you the counterbalance to Steve's positivity?
No, just sort of it is who I am, really. But I am positive. I am happy. It's we've had some good results. It's always good to see. The club feels somewhere good to be around, and yeah, it's good.
Yeah, obviously you watched the game last night with myself. You were supposed to be on the show with Matt. We won't talk about why you weren't on the show with Matt, but had you been on the show with myself and Matt, how did you feel they played last night from your perspective, Neil? Did you feel it was job done, it was tidy, it's professional? Do you think they could have gone for the juggler again, a bit like Saturday, I guess, where it was done by half time, could have really kicked itself on? How did you see the game last night in particular?
I thought it should almost have been X-rated. There was some sexy football going on there.
I like it. Who stood out for you then? Which one particular player do you think was, just the creme de la creme?
I'm not sure, to be honest. We kept going down Jackson's side, but it was Luongo playing him in that was great stuff. But it came from the back. The amount of times you could have got a clip of one of our goals, and it went from us tapping around with goalie and defenders all the way up the pitch. It was brilliant. And then that free kick at the end.
Wow. Carl Edwards only scored spectacular goals, didn't he?
That was beautiful.
Has he got a scuff in him? Do you know what I mean? Like, I've never seen him just sort of bobble one in the back of the net. It's always a Cambridge at home where he sort of bends it, or he's outside of his boot, or the free kick. It's interesting that Neil mentions the passing out from the back. He sort of says it here, Steve. Tremendous plan out from the back despite the pressing. Some people like it, some people don't. Where are you on it? Because I have to be honest, 33, there's a time and a place for me in my passing out from the back. It's great when it comes off, but there are times when I would just like my goalkeeper to put his laces through the ball, and if it has to end up in row Z, then that's fine with me, because you're lying, son. I
like a bit of hoof from time to time. Playing out from the back, when it's done properly and when it's done
Hoof,
well.
What a player.
Absolutely. When it's done properly, it's fantastic. But sometimes I just think it's cut the ball and just laces through it. Like I say, I feel more confident, with the keeper we've got, the defence we've got, with the playing out from the back than I have done in previous years. Certain keepers may be a little bit nervous about that sort of thing, but I feel like we're in safer hands with it now, so I don't mind it as much.
I think there's a time. I feel, Neil, there's a time and a place. That's all I'm going to say. There's a time and a place in the happy medium. I think that's what I would strive for. The happy medium of, this is our philosophy. This is how I would do it as a manager. But if you have to, I'm not going to cry. I ain't going to tear my notes up at half time, because I'd rather we were sensible with what we were doing.
I think there gets a point though. I know other seasons we've fallen into it where one person does it, and then before you know it, it's all we're doing. I don't feel that's where we are now. We seem almost a little bit the other way. But I can't fault what we're doing. I don't want them to suddenly change it. We've been waiting for us to be able to do this. Am I right in believing, is it Bristol City we played once, or was it Dons? We ended up coming up against a team that kept trying to play out the back, and we basically kept robbing the ball off them and scoring. It was great, but
yeah, a quick YouTube search will show many games like that up and down the world, all over the world. Really, you know, some people are like it, some people don't. I'm striving for the happy place, happy medium. Josh says, to be fair, we did well last night. Best I've seen it work. Mike D, Gov McCarthy. No. No. Jody Jackson, to play out from the back successfully, you have to stick at it. I think it's brilliant from the boys, and the odd time we're under pressure, clear it. Yeah, I think Jody puts it marvelously well.
Would you say a couple of times earlier in the season we got our choices wrong?
Yeah, it happens. You know, you've got to be brave with it. You have got to be brave. You have got to take the rough with the smooth. And
it's great when it works.
Like all things. Talking about great, Massimo Luongo last night, Steve. He was one of the January signings I've got to be critical of. I said it didn't really move the needle. I want to see him against better opposition. I'll stand by that last comment, but certainly last night, 46 touches, 80% pass completion rate, one shot off the woodwork, possession lost 10. Just a great game from Massimo last night on the back of Saturday. Just what can a player like that really do for the running in the next couple of weeks? They were, you know, just galvanising us.
He's sort of the perfect stand-in, isn't he, for Lee Evans? Obviously, don't know how long Evans is going to be out for. Cameron Humphreys was doing a good job, but he's not really that sort of physical player. I like Luongo's physicality. Again, in the January window, I was surprised, you know, because the players we were thinking of adding to the squad, I wouldn't have thought he'd have really come into the conversation. But I was, really pleased with him last night. It's great to see him fit, and it's great to see him starting games and contributing as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think the physicality is going to be a big plus if we can keep him fit. He's a seasoned head. He knows what he's doing. Like I say, Humphreys has been doing really well, but we missed that sort of physicality. And to be fair, even if Evans was fit, if Luongo stays fit, I might stick with Luongo for a bit.
Something they spoke about in the Kieran McKenna Mark Cash interview with Matt Holland, Neil, was in regards to Massimo, was the experience and what he can bring to the table in terms of a level head, a steady head, an experienced head. And we saw a little bit of that last night, and we saw a little bit of that on previous weeks. And obviously that pass to Jackson, as Trevor's highlights here, was sort of different class. And as I said there, 46 touches, 80% pass completion rate. He rarely loses the football, does he, Massimo?
No, it's brilliant.
Yeah, that was class passing. That's something I really love about him. He does a turn, he drives into space. He's got so many things he is bringing to us. I just hope it continues.
You've played the position. You know, how different can it be to play next to a player that, you know, if you're Sam Morsey, who's played to the level Massimo has, compared to a young player like Cam? Does it free you up a little bit in terms of what you can, what you can't, what you should, what you shouldn't do in that role? Could just give people a bit of an insight. I know you've played the position midfield. I never have. So when people say, "Oh, you're seeing Sam play more free, you're seeing this, you're seeing that," I take it with a grain of salt. How do you see it from someone who's played in that central area?
I very much find it depends who you're put alongside. I was always more of a defensive man when I say.
True.
Yeah, in my early days, doing the leg work for everyone else. I always actually enjoyed playing in a 3. I end up getting the ball back and just basically doing what Scoosh should have done. Get the ball and just give it to a man that can do a better job.
First Cole Skews mention. If you think I don't like Mick McCarthy, wait till you hear Neil's views on Cole Skews. Kadon Jackson last night then. Fantastic performance. I've been driving the Kadon Jackson bandwagon for a while. Steve, it's starting to fill up a little bit. The fella last night, just to give you a little bit of context, played the 90 minutes, 1 goal, 1 assist, 45 touches, 1 big chance creation, obviously. Just threatened every time the ball was in his vicinity. Within 10 yards of Kadon Jackson, you felt like something was going to be just starting.
Yeah, fair play to him. I've been critical of him in the past, and seeing his name on the starting 11, I thought, yeah, okay. But McKenna's seen something in him. McKenna's got something out of him that previous managers weren't able to do. So he's been here with 3 previous managers, I suppose, now, with Hurst, Cook and Lambert. But he's playing so well with McKenna. Fair play. He deserved the goal. His pace, as always, was insane. His touches were good. So I'm happy for him because it's nice to see him playing good football and enjoying his football and getting good results out of it as well. So, yeah, I think he's better in that sort of role. I know he's been played sort of in various different roles over his time, but I'd rather have him play where he was than just like an out-and-out striker as he has been sort of, previously, where he struggled a bit, I think. It's nice to have him where he was.
Certainly the conversion, Neil, to that wide forward role, for me, has worked because he is a much better player than he is when he plays centrally, as Steve just highlighted there.
100%. Yeah, he, as well as what's been mentioned there, his confidence, he seems to have gained a bit of pace as well, and whether he's been working, on a bit of that, and because we know he's been working hard, trying to be as big a part of the team as he can.
Do you know what?
He seems to be doing a lot of talk on the side as well.
How so?
Well, when the camera panned round and he seems to be talking around the team as if, he's given some insight or, whether he's just relaying a message. But he seems to be doing almost a little bit of a captain role as well.
It's interesting that comment there regards to pace, because I think that's one of the strongest points people sort of may have missed in terms of being the move from central striker to wide forward, because he's able to play on the front foot now. He's looking at the play, like he's able to make that diagonal run where he's reading the game. He's able to play on the front foot, know when the pass is. Whereas when you're playing that central striker, Steve, you're playing by and large, you're back to goal. You're playing, you're back to goal or off the last man, and there's only a limited number of ways in which you can operate with the offside trap and everything else. Whereas out wide, you are on that front foot. You are looking to spring it. You are looking constantly. And I think Neil was said there. It's kind of true. You look faster because you're playing on that front foot as opposed to playing off the back of your heels.
Yeah, absolutely. And his pace is, it's insane. And I think if you're a defender on the opposing team, you're going to be knackered after a certain period in the game, and Kadon Jackson's still going. He's still got that pace. He's shown no sign of slowing up.
Yes. Yeah.
And even if you get to a later point in the game and he's coming off the bench, he's obviously going to be full of that energy, and you're absolutely knackered. You've been maybe playing, you've obviously had a pretty intense game, and suddenly Kadon Jackson's running towards you. I think, oh God, I'd be terrified. I would be crapping myself because he is just so fast, and he's ideal. Like in the role he's in, either starting because he's obviously got the energy to go for 90 minutes, or even coming off the bench, he'll add something regardless, and it's brilliant.
If Neil can speak about the central midfield area, then I can certainly speak about being a central defender. Pace terrifies you. Absolutely terrifies you as a central defender, because you've either got it or you haven't. And if you haven't...
It does now. I've got no legs.
Well, this is it. See, now as you get older, you're starting to be sort of moved back to a centre-half, and then from a centre-half to a right-back. And then we all know, if you're a right-back, what are you, a foul Jamie Carragher? Or...
Now I understand why your arms were grappling so much.
Oh yes, you have to fight with them a lot more when you have no pace, my friend, because pace is not something you can ever be blessed with if you haven't got it. You either have or you haven't, and I never had it. So my game was always physical.
I used to always enjoy the challenge. You'd almost be ready for him. Go on, knock it, son. See if you can beat me.
Yeah, because you were fast. You had the long stride. I was not. I was forever running backwards. It always felt
wish I was there again.
Yeah. Oh, mate. Now I've got obviously a young kid, and there's a little ball starting to come out. I miss playing football, big time. Miss it. Just even in the rain, like even tonight's weather, like just kind of kick a ball about, shall we? Max Thatch, credit has to be given to the coaching team. for bringing out the potential in Kadon Jackson. He is the most improved player in the squad since KM took over. Lee Brown, Jackson better out wide, not strong enough as a forward. Nick Howes, I wish Ipswich all the best in the playoffs. It's Argyle on Wednesday for him. Let me guess, are you an Argyle fan? Oh, Green Army at the end. Good luck. Hey, Burns has had his best game in a long time on Saturday, but Jackson's pace gives him the. Was that a penalty last night? I know the referee gave the penalty. It was a penalty because it was given, but was it a penalty? What are your thoughts on it, Nick? If you take the Argyle glasses off, I'd love to know. Burns had his best game in a long time on Saturday, but Jackson's pace gives him the edge for me. Womble, I would not pick Burns for the words. Right, I don't know what that is. That was hard. I don't know what to talk about. Right, Phil. Referee, was that a penalty for Plymouth last night, in your opinion?
I've not seen the highlights yet. I was just Googling it right now.
Phil, go and watch it. Come back to me in just a second. We'll come back with Phil Blundell. Referee watch. It's like VAR in actual action.
Yeah.
It's like VAR in actual action. He is in the headquarters, furiously looking at every camera angle. What is going on? €5.
I almost got a Kamara moment there.
Yes.
Someone got sent off. Did he?
Have they? €5 from David Bergen. Thank you very much, David. A real honour. Thank you so much for supporting the platform. Josh says never a penalty. Chris says no chance, softest pen ever. Max Facts, if Argyle penalties are correct, then it was a penalty to Ladapo for us, both soft. Have either of you seen it?
Yeah.
Penalty for you, yes or no?
No.
Okay. Neil, penalty for you, yes or no?
If I've seen it, I've forgotten it.
It's one of those. If you see it, I don't think you can forget it. I mean, I can see why it was given in real time, Steve. You know, in the flow of the game, and but I'm trying to be kind. I don't know why it was.
I think I was just watching it. Obviously, just the frustration of Derby throwing away that lead, but certain angles, yeah, potentially it looked like it. But when you see it, other angles, no way was that a penalty. Ridiculous decision. But
while we wait for our VAR expert Phil Blundell to wave his hand and say, "There's been an incident in the," but who to? Phil Blundell. I'm going to give you a player each. I want you to say the first word that comes to mind about that player, and then I'm going to ask you to unpack it a little bit for the guys and girls at home. Now, you didn't know I was going to do this, so this is going to be completely off the old cuff. Steve, Luke Wolfenden. It can be his season, or it can be last night's game. Either one word, and what you think about Luke Wolfenden.
solid.
All right, solid. So what? Last night or the whole season so far?
Last night, I think that he had a couple of wobbly moments earlier in the season, but I think he's doing all right. Him and Burgess are doing very well together. Edmondson, whether he's injured or not, it's not really getting a look in, but
He's not.
no. I'm really happy with Wolfenden. I think he's had a good season. He's, some people have said it before that he's just so calm and collected at the back, and that could have been an issue. I think previously, he was so calm. Every now and then it sort of switch off a little bit, but yeah, I think he's having a pretty decent season. So I'm happy.
Yeah, all right. Neil, Janoy Danasian came back in last night. One word to just describe his season or game last night, and then we'll unpack it a little bit more.
Steady.
Steady. What, last night or the whole season so far?
That season as a whole is, we sort of know what we expect of him now, and he doesn't seem to disappoint really. What we expect of him, he does again and again.
Do you think he's unfairly lost his place to Harry Clark, or do you think that was a needed, I hesitate to say upgrade, but at the price cost of $1.5 million, it would suggest it kind of is. But do you think it was unfair of him to lose his place? Do you think it was needed? You say steady, but steady is J-Tab. It doesn't mean it's Daryl Murphy.
On last night's performance, steady's probably a little bit harsh, but on the whole of where we want to go, we need a good step up. I think Clark has it now and again. I'm not fully sold on him, but we'll see. He's got his pros and cons, like every player does, and I think Clark can do more going forward.
A says Jay's fantastic one-on-one defender, but he judges the ball is poor. I had a vibration on the watch. VAR check is over. Phil Blundell, penalty or no penalty?
Absolutely no fucking penalty.
Talk me through it, Phil, as a town fan and as a
before I continue my answer, I just want to ask Neil. I mean, say you really sound really unsure about this, and I'm very. I want to feel your thoughts about how you felt about the decision. Can you remember clearly in your mind what it was the referee gave?
No, I've got a clue, man. I can tell you that.
I'm
now
saying you can't.
If I got to now try and watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, got a clue.
I mean, say.
I've seen so much crap in my time. I just
I mean, say. Look, I would say. I don't want to go on about bloody referees this bloody season.
Phil, it's your thing, mate. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, I guess it is. I mean, say that is easily one of the worst refereeing decisions you'll see all season, I'm afraid. And I don't give a shit what the professionals say about it. That is no.
By any chance, did his hair get in his eyes?
Oh,
that's what happens to no Chris.
No, he's bold. That referee last night at the Plymouth game was bold. He's a slaphead.
Right, Phil.
Feel like me.
Game last night. What were your thoughts on it?
I thought it was a professional performance. I felt that the Accrington game would present more of a challenge because obviously being that bit closer to drop, they probably had more fight in them, and they did. They closed us down. They were tight. They were compact in midfield, and I think for most of the game for us, it was quite a tricky game to manoeuvre. But in the end, I mean, so we're showing, like you said, we're showing our defensive capabilities now. I think last night for me, our defensive performance last night was really good, despite the fact that we keep pissing about with the ball across the fucking box, which pisses me off, gives me heart failure. I thought we defended the game, very well last night. And
so you're one of these people that feel that shouts to what Steve shouted earlier. Who fit?
That bloody Bolton at times, I tell you what, he gives me bloody heart failure. He does. I'm saying last night, Jackson's performance for me, given his opportunity on that right hand side, that we all know that he's capable of doing. He really, impressed me last night, and I'm happy that he got a goal last night because he doesn't play all that often. He doesn't get that many minutes on the pitch, and he put in a man of the match performance with a goal and assist last night, and that cross early on for Broadhead was I thought was superb. I've got to say, last night before the game, I bumped into Goat and Mike, and I know they're on here. I know they're on here. So I'll just retell it how I see it. So when I saw the starting lineup when it was announced, about an hour before the game, and then seeing Mike a bit later underneath the stand with Goat and a mate of his, I just went up to him and said, "Jackson's starting." So that kind of started him a little bit because obviously I know he's his favourite player and all that. And then he just came up to me and just teased me about me having a fight with Crunch. And I said, nah, it's not going to happen. Then gave a score prediction of 5-0. So it doesn't surprise me to find out last night that Mike's man of the match yesterday was actually Broadhead. he doesn't like Jackson at all, does he, really? Let's face it.
How did you see KJ's performance before
I thought it was at least an 8 out of 10. He worked his socks off like he always does, and he was getting forward and back defending when we needed him to. And I'm gonna say easily for me last night, he was my man match. I thought Luongo impressed again in midfield with Morsey. Morsey had that little bit more freedom, despite the fact that Accrington actually made life difficult for us. Like I said, they closed us down. They kept things tight. They had 2 or 3 players around our man most of the time, and they just lacked punch up front. I think Accrington, they do lack goals in that team, and I saw Coleman's comments about the officials last night, and he was saying, whenever we go, to the top 6, we never get the rub of the green. He was burning about that. I thought to myself, that referee last night, 2 decisions that he gave last night when he booked Burgess for winning the ball. Okay, yes, I know it was a high ball that he won, but he booked him for it. You know, he won the ball, he crazy decision, and then not giving that penalty against, was it Ladapo? Ladapo was fouled from behind. He was just inside the area. Stonewall penalty, and he just completely ignored it.
So
Yeah,
was it?
I felt the Burgess one was harsh.
Yeah, the Burgess one was harsh, and so was the Ladapo one. I'm saying should have been a penalty.
What about the
I
red
felt
card?
Chaplin had one in midfield as well. If he had have tried to header it, there was a high boot on him.
Because that's what I think Coleman was kind of alluding to, wasn't he? I've not fully heard or read the quote, but wasn't it more about the red card for the goalkeeper?
Well, I have to say that red card. Okay, going back to the FA Youth Cup that I saw, 2 or 3 weeks ago against West Ham, our defender was sent off, and he was a good 35 plus yards from goal.
Right.
Okay, fair enough. He was sort of the last man, but there was another. We did actually have another Town player sort of in the close proximity to it, and I felt that he could have, covered. But that foul, being just outside the area, I'm saying looking at last night, I think there were 1 or 2 Accrington players again, around the goal. I'm saying it's one of those. I'm saying he gave a red card. Was it harsh? I think there's probably kind of an argument to say that maybe he should have booked him instead. But it was one of those. I can see why Coleman last night felt hardly done by. But I mean, say at that stage, we were 2-0 up. I'm saying really it should have been more by that stage, and I really, I can't really justify as to why. What he's moaning about. I mean, say some fans will say that maybe the goalkeeper shouldn't have been sent off. I would say, I guess I was a little bit surprised when I saw him show the red card. I thought that he would have just booked him. Again, it's just one of those, But Edwards' free kick, when he scores goals for us, at under the lights. I would say his goals are a bit special. Let's face it.
Good man, right, Phil?
I felt it was a bit harsh as a red.
Do you?
I think so.
I think
I'm saying,
yeah.
I was a bit. I went a bit. I was like, oh, well, okay, fine, fair enough.
Looking back at it, I could understand, because I felt that if the keeper had allowed him to skip past, if he had first timed it, he pretty much had an open goal. If he had taken a touch, there were some defenders that were going to get in his way.
Exactly. That's why. I mean, say that's a key thing for me when players are, in a sort of clear, obvious goal scoring opportunity. One of the things that referees need to judge is that are there any other defending players in close proximity to the infringement? And if there are, then there is enough doubt in the mind or there should be enough doubt in the mind of the referee, not to show a red card. So I think on that basis, perhaps the keeper should have been perhaps shown a yellow card instead.
But is that where the double jeopardy thing sort of is a bit nonsense?
I think
if he's in the box, it's a penalty, so he doesn't get sent off, right?
I'm saying there are times,
so
right?
For the sake of 4 yards, the referee if he last man, he's almost got to send him off. He's almost got to.
There is another thing that I actually learned this. We were shown a graphic of how the PGMOL referees need to judge it, and what they showed. So what I saw at the time is they showed a graphic of the pitch. Now, in each half around the penalty areas at both ends, it's kind of segregated into kind of squares and rectangles and triangles. And they showed us the area, the areas of the pitch, of the field of play, where, the goalkeepers especially are most susceptible of being shown red card. Now, the further...
Well, I'd imagine if it's around their area, because it ain't going to be in the opposition's box.
Closer to the area, inside the penalty, increases the likelihood that they will get shown a straight red card. It's only when it's further out, so like I've mentioned, so that Youth Cup game, I thought, that referee was far, far too quick. Lightning quick red card,
Phil,
bang, red card.
You love a referee. You love
a referee. I'm saying it's not...
Scour match of the day on a Saturday night, not for the goals.
It's not good that a referee makes a lightning quick decision in the eyes of spectators, managers, and other people
I don't know. If you're sure, you're sure. That's what
because they're not allowing themselves thinking time, Gov. They're not.
Well,
it's the thinking time. They need to think about. They only get a snapshot, split second view of the incident. Boom, it's gone. They need to give themselves thinking time. That referee was far too quick. But that referee last night, I would say again, he was pretty quick with his red card. I'm thinking, he probably gave himself maybe a second and a half thinking time. And he just went red card. I thought, fair enough. I thought it was a bit harsh on the goalkeeper yesterday. But speaking about referees, no one's really talked about the red card that should have been shown against Marvin Johnson in the Sheffield Wednesday game, which pissed me off.
Well, no, but he's been retrospectively 3 games suspended.
Yeah, but it takes the piss, mate.
Yeah, but you're not going to get it.
We should have been playing against 10. We could have won that game. We would have been 2 points better off.
2-0 down 4 minutes later. I mean, yes, we could have done.
Let's face it, right? Against 10 men against Wednesday, we could have should have won that game, really. And again, that pisses me off because the amount of time.
That was weeks ago. We've got to move on, mate. We've got to let it go. We've got to do an Elson from Frozen. Just let it go.
All right. Thinking about Saturday's game, then Bolton are out without one of their key attacking players. Talk
to me. Who are they without? Talk to me. Who is it?
That player they got off Burton. He scored 13 goals so far this season in January. That had a Biagio player.
Okay. We could have got one of those from Burton.
Instead, we got a Hadbay. We had to, just have to live with it.
Yeah, there we go. I've got Jody waiting to come in.
Right.
Phil, score prediction for the weekend?
I'm going to go with 1-0 Town. I think that, defensively we've improved and we've got plenty of goals in us now. I think, Luongo and Broadhead, performing the way they are. And, we've now got Jackson's good backup. And it was good to see David starting a game last night because I didn't think he'd play. I thought he'd bring in maybe, Greg Lee or Clark. But I think that we were in good stead for Saturday, and we were in some real good momentum too. So I'm looking forward to the one Saturday. I'll go for 1-0 Town win.
Good man. Appreciate it, Phil. As always, look after yourself. I don't want any more referee talk, so I'm going to get this out of the way nice and early. Referee for Saturday is Neil Hare. So I thought you were going earlier with the hair pun, Neil. So referee is Neil Hare. 21 games this year, 76 yellows, 6 reds. Last referee Bolton, 2-0 win over Lincoln in October. Last referee Town, the famous or the infamous 1-1 at home to Oldham in the FA Cup. So that's referee for Saturday, Neil Hare. And I never want to talk about referee for more than 15 minutes ever again. Jody, welcome in. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. What are your thoughts on last night's game before I give you one player to tell me your thoughts on for the season? How did you see last night, first and foremost?
It was a good performance.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there were bits the referee got wrong, but obviously we got the goals that mattered in the end, so it didn't really matter in the end. But Accrington were quite a poor side, couldn't string too many passes together. But their one midfielder, can't remember his name, but number 23, anything good that happened in the game for them pretty much went through him, and that was their only outlet, really.
Yeah. How did you see Connor Chaplin's game last night and also his season? Because he's in phenomenal form. Our talisman, as often said. But how have you seen his game last night and his season, Jody?
Yeah, he was fairly good last night. To be honest with you, I was disappointed not to see Harness start last night, considering how much game time Chaplin and Broadhead have had. Okay. And obviously one of those two could have been rested up for Bolton, because had one of them two got injured in the game last night, we could have been having a bit of a dilemma for Saturday. But no, Chaplin's been, considering our strikers haven't been firing all the best, Chaplin's come up with the goals, and he's probably half the reason why we're actually still clinging on to that third spot.
So you would have started with Harness. What are your thoughts on Harness? I know last night on the post-game show, a lot of people weren't the biggest Marcus Harness supporter. Maybe hasn't been playing as well recently, should I say? But you wanted to start him last night, so you must be seeing something good from him.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Harness, but since his injury, he's not been exactly the same. But just because we had 3 games coming up this week and the big one Saturday, I would have liked to have seen Harness start just to get him some minutes. Although he did have a couple of poor touches when he came on, and he didn't look the sharpest. But I do think overall this season he's had some really good moments, and can just like Chaplin can score some good goals at important times, like Burton away. You know, if it wasn't for Harness there, we probably would have ended up with a draw, and people would have been moaning that we, against teams that want to sit back again.
Good point. Jody, weekend, Bolton up next. You positive? You nervous? How do you head up to Bolton as a Town fan feeling?
Yeah, a little bit nervous considering some of the results we've had against some teams that are worse than Bolton this season. But it's one of them, really, isn't it? We need to go there and get the points. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really, we've just got to bring the 3 points back, really. Otherwise, it's, I can't, Plymouth have got a tough game. But if they end up dropping points, and so do we, it's pointless. We've got to make sure that whenever they're potentially going to slip up, that we haven't.
Great point. Jody, pleasure having you on the platform. Have a great rest of the evening, and hopefully, next time I speak to you, Town have got 3 more points in the bank.
I hope so. Cheers.
All the best. Steve, Marcus Harris, great head of hair. You've got a great head of hair. How have you seen Marcus Harris this season so far?
With the whole Chaplin Harness thing, I just think, the whole logic of, you give the shirt to the player who's doing a great job, and Chaplin's been doing so well. Keep starting him. Harness is a great player. He's got some good goals in him. But he has had some shaky moments. I like Harness, don't get me wrong, but I just think Chaplin offers more. And as much as I do like Harness, I think bringing him on in place of Chaplin is probably the better option, but I would start with Chaplin from the off. Because the whole logic of you play well, you keep the shirt. Chaplin is on another level at the minute. He's had such a great season. Like you say, probably one of the talismans of the team. I would stick with him, bring Harness on as a sub. But we're in that sort of stage of the season now where you need to be starting your best 11. And I don't think he is a part of that, which is surprising. Because he is a good player, but look at the caliber of players we have got who have had a better time of it. So, yeah, stick with Chaplin.
Neil, one word to describe the player. He's only been here a short time, so you can't go for the whole season, and then we'll build off it again. Nathan Broadhead, one word to describe him.
Brilliant.
Talk me through why brilliant. What about him makes him brilliant, and what excites you as a fan watching him play for Ipswich Town Football Club?
His link up with Chaplin, our talisman, just the way they work. He finds himself in great positions in the box. At this moment, I don't want to jinx the guy. He seems to have a finish on him. So, The only down point I have was it on the weekend, he kept ducking out of header and opportunities. That kept annoying me. But being a defensive guy, I would, if he's got far better footwork than me. So
being the closest thing to Sean Dyche on this platform doesn't surprise me. You got to get it in the mixer, son. Class says A. Class says Josh. Mustard says Mike B. Certainly is a different kind of mustard. Jamie Legg. I went down the gym today and wore Moshe's top. Okay. The shirt is a puller, says Jamie. There we go. Fair play. ITFC mad. Harness needs a goal. Was unlucky against Burton. Should have made it 5-0. Emerson. Business end of the season. Now pressure can do funny things. We just need to focus on the controllables, and that is us. Well, Bolton is up next. They are currently in 5th. They've last 5 games have won, lost, drawn. 0-0 last night, gentlemen, with Morecambe. Are they running out of steam a little bit? Potentially. They have played a lot of games, as Phil sort of told us early in the season. Recently, 8 games in 22. You're both confident of this trip? You're both feeling it's going to be a good trip, 3 points? Would you take a point on the McCarthy point, Steve? How are you feeling now for Bolton?
I would be disappointed with a point. It's very close, the top 3. So we can't afford to drop points. We've got 5 points back. And it was going to be 2 last night. It was so close. But I would be disappointed with the point. I think we can go there. I think we can do a good job. I think we can come away with 3 points, to be honest. They obviously 0-0 last night. I'd like to think we'd give them a better game than Morecambe. So, yeah, I'm feeling confident. I'll be over the moon with 3 points, don't get me wrong, but I will be disappointed with the 1.
Does the game make you nervous at all, Neil?
I'm nervous from here on out, but yeah.
Love that. Such honesty. I actually would have bravadoed that, not our Neil. All right, 2 other questions for you, Neil. You answered that one so briefly. First of all, off on the chat. Speaking of the left back situation, do you see Lee as third choice or now, or David Clark Lee? How do you see that? Who's Davis's understudy for you, Neil?
For me, it has to be Clark.
Okay, not Greg Lee. So you'd play Clark if David can't go for whatever reason any week.
Yeah, I just see Donatian more solid at the right back position than Lee is coming in at the left back position.
Fair enough.
Clark seems to have done absolutely fine there when he's had a few minutes.
And would you have Selena or Nathan Broadhead?
Well, we know how many minutes Selena gives his best, so it's got to be Broadhead.
Fair play. All right. Jukebox for this weekend. Before we go into the changes you'd make, Neil, Steve, what is your jukebox entrant for those to vote on at home?
It would be a song called Entertainers by a local unsigned band called Escaping Today. Very, very good band. If you like a little.
Do you happen to be in this band, Steve?
You don't have to be in this band. It helps if you are in this band. I might know a member.
I asked, are you in this band?
Yes. No. This is a random band.
That might sway the vote, my friend. So Steve is in a band called Escaping Today. They are playing a gig in Norwich in what nightclub?
It's called Fluke.
It's called Fluke.
21st of March.
Joke. It's what night?
21st. Can't remember what day of the week that is. It's a school night. Sorry.
It's a Tuesday. It's the week
Tuesday.
before Colin Plum's book launch. So if you're in the local area, so Norwich, do go and check it out. But he's putting in a song from his own band. And Neil, you're putting what song against it and why?
I don't know really.
Just pick a song. Neil, it's not hard, mate. There's millions in the world, probably billions at this point.
Actually, I'll go for Rush and Subdivisions.
Okay. And any particular reason why you're going for that one?
It's a song I've picked up recently. Old, so yeah, I like it.
Okay.
If someone else out there does as well, then all good.
If that beats Steve Entrant, then I'll be upset with the Talking Town community because, this is Steve's band, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get him in. Right. Any changes for Bolton? I know McKenna likes to change. This isn't necessarily what McKenna might do. It is what you would do if you were given the keys and the felt tip pen for the tactics board. Stephen, any changes from last night? If so, who and why?
No, I would stick with the same 11. I think it was decent. Got the job done. Nice and solid. Stay as you are.
Love it. Neil, any changes for you? And if so, why and who?
I think Burns will step in. And for me, it all depends on if we're going to play the same game of tapping around the defence and we can draw their team up, Jackson will work. If we don't do that, I think Burns is the better option.
Is that the only change you would make? Burns coming in for KJ?
I'd have Clark in the team as well, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree with that, as does Colin. He says Clark and Burns coming in. Lee says Clark starts Saturday on right, Davis on the left, the Dapper up front with Thurston Jackson to come on later at their pace. Chaplin in the 10 role, Broadhead in, and Luongo far too experienced. Would you go with Luongo again, Steve, or would you go with Cam Humphreys?
No, I'd go Luongo again. It's going to be quite a physical challenge, I think. Just for as long as we can, as long as he stays fit and he's up for it, start Luongo. Without a doubt, for me.
Phil says maybe Burns in for Jackson. Mike D. Burns and Clark back in. Lee says same side as last Saturday, please. So yeah, minimal changes, if any, and the ones that you are sort of changing are ones back to the team that you had Saturday at home just previously. Okay, let's check in on the poll. Currently, Steve winning by 79%. Love that. You got 2 more minutes. Chris Boyd, you run the strongest 11 now every game and change only when you have to. We need the consistency of performance for the rest of the season. Great comment, Chris. Thanks for watching again. As always, Luongo starts every game for A unless injured. Same to you, A. Thanks for watching and great comment as always. Right, score prediction. Get it in the chat. We are back live 8:30 Friday night. Myself and the Hard Truth boys. I've already got a couple of talking points. Next 5 thoughts. The business end. It's upon us. How are we going to do in the next 5? Jackson's momentum. Comment last night. This is Big Mo on the sideline of Ipswich Town. All of that and more on Friday's show. John B says Luongo could be the key. I've got 2-1 from Josh Russell, 1-0 from Phil, 1-0 from Emerson. The 3 Talking Town YouTube members leading the way. And David again, 2-1. Love that. And David, thank you for your super chat tonight. It's very much appreciated as always. There's still time though for everyone to follow David's wonderful lead. Get a super chat in. Let us know you love the platform. Neil, the king of positivity. Your score prediction, please.
2-1 Town.
2-1 Town. Love it. Mike D says bottom 5, Ipswich 7. The Driscoll brothers back on. They certainly are. Steve, your score, please.
I'm going to go 3-1 Town.
3-1 Town. Love it. Right. Get voting in the poll. It runs until the intro or the outro ends. Right now, Steve's band are heading into the Talking Town Jukebox with greats such as 3 Doors Down, such as the Pet Shop Boys. I'm sure they're in there. Such as, I don't know who else is in there, but some greats. Will they be going in there? You've got literally, I'll tell you how long you've got, 44 seconds. But we'll see you Friday. Good night.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I am down low and I am blue, I can't get enough. Hopeless lover. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. Hopeless lover. Hopeless lover. I woke up all soaked in sweat, chills running down my neck. I thought went crazy from just the thought of you.